What's going on, guys? Ray Yergs back here with another episode of Third and Long Pick Six Show. Week 5 NFL picks. 2-3-1 last week. Tough week last week. But if you catch my recap video, we're just going to continue to grind just as we do every week. All right? Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the content, enjoying the show. Don't forget to check me out on YouTube and on Twitter at The Real Ray Yergs. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit the like, do everything you need to do for the support, as I really appreciate it. And let's just keep on rolling, all right? Let's get right into it. Now, as I mentioned in the recap video, I did say that I would have a pick in tomorrow morning's game, 9:30 a.m. in London, Giants, Green Bay. And that's where we're going to go. Head into London. Both teams looking pretty strong, even though, the Giants, very surprising this season to be where they are. It's interesting to see. I think Daniel Jones is going to be out, so a little shaken up last week. But Packers coming off a big victory against the Patriots. So a lot of momentum going into this week, especially with Aaron Rodgers. He is claiming that they're going to be airing it out this week, so we'll see how that pans out for them. So it's going to be interesting to see with these rookie wide receivers for Rodgers to see if they can actually hold on to the ball at times. But we're not going with a pick here. We're not going with the side. Surprising. One of the things I don't take a lot of is the unders, and we're going to go under 41.5 here in the Green Bay game. Listen, both offenses are not really moving the ball very well. Green Bay did put up a lot of points against the Patriots, but they are not putting up many points at all throughout the weeks. The defense is what's really been holding them in this game. So I don't know if I buy into the offense yet. I don't really know if I see what Rodgers is talking about with connecting with the wide receivers. He still seems to be having some struggles. Wide receivers are having a lot of hard times catching the balls, holding on to them. So with that being said, especially with the Giants, they've not really been able to move the ball either. I don't really like this game. This is kind of an ugly game, in my opinion. It's really a shitty game to be putting on in London. But when you're making the schedule, what can you do, But I like the under 41.5 in this one. I don't see much going on both sides of the ball. I see Green Bay coming out with the victory, but the spread's just not where I feel comfortable with taking it. So under 41.5 in the Giants Packers. Early start, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, so make sure you get that in. All right, we're heading down to New Orleans. This one right here, this is a great offensive battle in my opinion. Seattle, I believe, is 7-3 or 8-2 to the over in their last 10 games. I like over 45.5 in this game. The way that Seattle was able to move the ball last week and throughout the season, given the week 1, offense has been able to move the ball a lot, but the defense is what's been struggling for Seattle. So I like the over 45.5 in this one. Andy Dalton getting the start. Jameis Winston sitting out another week this week. But given the fact that Andy Dalton was able to move against a very good defense in the Vikings last week in London, I like that trend to continue this week against the even poorer defense in Seattle. So I expect a lot more points again this week. As I said, Seattle's been playing very well offensively to the over, so we're going to continue on that trend and go over 45.5 with Seattle, New Orleans. Vikings playing at home against the Bears. Listen, if we're talking about offenses who are good, this is an offense who is bad, and that is in the Bears. Ranked 31st in the league. Terrible offense right now. They're not able to do anything on that side of the ball. Justin Fields is struggling to even just put up any type of passing yards for that matter. Listen, Vikings are a little bit of a big spread. It's -7.5. I would have liked it at -7, and if you were able to get that at -7 when it opened or lower at one point, kudos to you. But I'm taking it at -7.5. I like the Vikings at home against the Bears. Bears are going to not be able to move the ball against a top defense, especially when the Vikings are actually really starting to click on all cylinders now. Especially Kirk Cousins. Obviously, we know that he's a very consistent quarterback throughout the season, and he's been able to connect with Justin Jefferson. They're having tremendous seasons right now, in my opinion, and I like that trend to continue. I think the Vikings blow out the Bears. Big divisional matchup. This is going to be able to help the Vikings moving forward to keep up with the Packers. So I like this in a blowout. I think Vikings get a 2-touchdown victory at home against the Bears. Chargers heading east to the Browns. Listen, recent weeks I've been dabbling into the Browns bucket. We've been going with the overs, with the spreads. Browns, as I said, they could be 4-0 at this point, but some late struggles in games, some miscues. I did say I like where they are still at 2-2. I like where they're going to be able to get headed into week 12. So I still like where they are, but not so much concerned about getting the victory here. As we're going to go with another over, and we're going to go over 47.5 in the Chargers and the Browns. Listen, Herbert is starting to click offensively. Keenan Allen is going to be out again, but that doesn't seem to be an issue right now with the Chargers offense. The defense is what's banged up. Bosa is going to be out again, and looks like for some significant amount of time. So I like the Chargers be able to put up points big time in this matchup. Browns susceptible to be giving up points, but they're able to keep up and move the ball. If they can just keep on doing some ground and pound and then air it out, they'd be able to keep up with the Chargers. I like the Chargers in the victory on this one, to be honest. This one's a tough one. I don't really like where the spread's at, but I do like the Chargers to get the victory in this one, especially with the Browns coming off a heartbreaking loss again. So that's not what we're going with. We're going with over 47.5 with the Chargers and the Browns. All right, next two games. We are heading out to the West Coast. They're in the 425 bracket. And if you know me well that I don't really typically like this team very much. And they continuing to prove me wrong. If you've been watching my videos, you'd understand why. The defense is what's keeping them in this game, in any game. And that's what's going to happen this week again. Cowboys, Rams, terrific matchup. Rams coming off a heartbreaking loss against the 49ers. Cowboys continuing to roll defensively, and they picked it up on offense this week too. So I like the Cowboys getting points on the road in this one, especially 5.5. That's that number that, again, it's that weird number that just screams that, like, take the underdog. I feel like this spread should be about -3.5 for the Rams, maybe -4, but at 5.5, the way that the Cowboys have been playing, I love what they're doing defensively. It's painful for me to say anything good about the Cowboys, but I love what they're doing. They're doing exactly what they need to do until Dak comes back. Is Dak even going to come back? Cooper Rush is playing very good football right now, and it doesn't seem like there's any rush to bring Dak back at all. So, big road game here for the Cowboys. They need to be able to keep pace with the Eagles, so I like them at +5.5. I love them getting points in this matchup. That is my favorite pick this week. Cowboys. Ugh, painful for me to say that. +5.5. Last pick of the night, Eagles, Cardinals. Big matchup here as well, as the Eagles are the only undefeated team left in the league. Number 1 in my power rankings if you watch my recap show. 2 weeks in a row, I still have them at number 1 in my power rankings. Tough matchup here, but this is another number where it says I like the Cardinals +5.5, and that's where I'm going. I like the Cardinals at +5.5. This is a tough matchup for the Eagles. Eagles have been playing great football. They had a come from behind victory against Jacksonville last week, but they're playing against a team that's more dynamic, more explosive, and they haven't played against anybody who looks nearly as good as Kyler Murray does. So if Murray is able to do what he was able to do last week against the Panthers, get around, move out of the pocket, make some plays, extend the play, running around, then the Eagles are going to have a tough time with the Cardinals. Do they get the victory? I think the Eagles do squeak out the victory in this one, but only by a field goal or less. But this is a big matchup, big road matchup for the Eagles. This is a big test for Jalen Hurts, who's having a very good MVP type season. But the number just says home dog plus 5.5. That's what I like with the Cardinals. Quick recap one more time for you guys. Don't forget, all odds courtesy FanDuel Sportsbook. Giants, Packers under 41.5. Seattle, New Orleans over 45.5. Vikings minus 7.5. Chargers, Browns over 47.5. Cowboys plus 5.5. My favorite pick of the week, and the Cardinals at plus 5.5 as well. Make sure you get on those picks. Don't forget to tune in on Tuesday on the recap show. Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesdays are the recap show. Saturdays are the pick show. Hope you guys are enjoying. Let's get back on the winning track this week. All right? And let's find some winners, guys. Thanks for tuning in.